Hello and welcome. I'm Kamla. My guest today is Shy Mudakavi. She is the founder and CEO of Safari Kid, a preschool institution based here in the Bay Area, but she has branches all over the country as well as internationally. And before we talk to you, Shy, here's a small clip about your school, Safari Kid, a jungle of knowledge. And I want to find out why it is called Safari Kid and not kids.
Because we believe every child is an individual, every child is important, so it's Safari Kid and not kids. We do not generalize.
How did you come up with the name Safari Kid?
It's just a fun name. Kids love animals, kids love jungle, and it's just a fun name. It just was part of the performing arts, and so that's therefore the name Safari Kid.
Did you ever dream that you would have a school for preschoolers?
Never.
What did you think you would become when you were studying in Bombay?
So I have a variety of backgrounds. So I finished my graduation. While I was in college, I was a model. Then I used to do a lot of stage plays, and I used to do professional dancing. And then I got into doing law because I wanted to come to the United States because my boyfriend was here. So after doing
Who's
all
now
that,
your husband?
Yes, he's my husband now. And after that, I came to this country, and because I was in the Silicon Valley, the Bay Area, I wanted to pursue law because it's when I used to do my court sessions and all in India, and they said I was really good at convincing. So I just thought I'll do that because at that point, frankly, I didn't know what I wanted to do, what was there in stock for me. So when I came to the Bay Area, my husband said, Silicon Valley, you have to get into computers. So I started doing computer networking. And while
this was how many years ago?
This was in 2002.
Okay. And the networking industry actually was dying, actually.
Correct.
Okay. So you started taking networking classes.
Correct. And the good part is my entire family works in Cisco.
Oh.
So I had a lot of job offers lined up at that point, but I was on a crossroad because really I was not sure if I wanted to do that because I was kind of forced into it.
Oh, you're kind of forced into it.
Yeah, because everybody was into computers. Everybody was like, no, you have to in the Bay Area. You have to do.
I have a hard time thinking that people were forcing you.
They were not successful, but they tried their best, including my husband, my in-laws, my parents, everybody. But to pay for that, I was actually tutoring students. And that's where I figured out, ultimately, this is where my passion is. And I remember a very important thing my father-in-law told me when I got married and leaving India. He told me, Beta, everybody has a purpose in life. And there are very few chosen lucky ones who figure out their purpose. And that thing just stuck to me because when I
networking was not your purpose.
Networking was not my purpose. It was just everybody else's choice. It's just because people made a lot of money in stock, and it was not my ball game at all. So basically, while doing that, I just figured out that maybe this is not what I want to do. I will try something else where my heart belongs, and I could relate to kids. I worked really well with kids. I was teaching at a swim school, and I performed really well. I started having my private swim classes, plus I used to do tutoring. So everything just evolved around kids for me. And at that point...
You didn't have kids at that point?
I didn't have children, no.
Okay,
None.
But you were drawn to the kids?
Yes. But
and
that's been my background.
They were drawn to you.
Correct. Even in school, when all the students used to play with 5th graders with 5th graders, 9th graders with 9th graders, right from my 7th grade to 10th grade, I used to actually conduct play lessons for little kids in my school. I was the teacher.
In Bombay? In
Bombay. So I think it's just inbuilt in me. And my grandmother, she used to, 6 o'clock in the morning, get down on the streets, pick up 8 to 9 students on the streets, homeless children, and she used to bring them to the terrace, and she used to tutor them. So I somehow feel it's kind of ingrained in me. I've seen that happen, and maybe that's what ignited. And I just knew for sure, I want to work with children. I had to. I didn't think of anything else at that point, although I had a very good offer, but I was like, I'm going to try this. And I'm going to make it happen because this is where my heart belongs.
So you started off in a small way, tutoring, swim classes and everything. When was the first Safari Kid born?
Safari Kid was a performing arts school that was born around 2003.
So when you say performing arts school, it was not what we have today?
No, it was not. It was to be a dance school, art school, and we used to teach them painting stuff and drama. So it was all about that. But in 2005, I actually started Safari Kid as a preschool, just before my son was born, actually. December 26, 2004, he was born. No, December 26, 2004, he was born, and Jan 1st, I started Safari Kid Preschool.
What, within 7 days you were on your feet?
I signed my contracts and also my business was there, but I was back to work on the 21st day. Completely. My husband used to sit with my baby in the car and I used to nurse him in and out, in and out. That's how it was.
So this was conceived while your child was...
Yes. He was my lucky baby.
He was your lucky baby. So you started off. So why did you want to go the preschool route? Did you want to learn for your son, to find out what it is to put your son through a preschool? Or how did you go from being a creative after-school kind of a program to a regular preschool? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're two different things.
Right. So while I was tutoring all the students, I was tutoring right from kindergartners. I mean, for me to even... at that point, because I'm from India, kindergartners coming in for tutoring was very hard for me to understand. Why would a kindergartner first grade come for tutoring? They were all from private schools. And I was constantly seeing a struggle. These children were struggling with their homework, their basics were not strong, and the parents were so stressed out, and the parents' stress was showing on the children, and children, instead of performing better with tutoring, I could feel the stress of the child, and I used to have more of... I'm not a professional child psychiatrist or anything, but I used to keep talking to the parents, and I just felt, you know, I understand what these children need. I felt there's the foundation that's lacking, and that's where I started working everything together. So I did a lot of reading and stuff online. I started talking to a lot of experts, and I hired the right people to get me where I am.
Oh, so you hired right away, you hired good people?
Not right away. I hired my first teacher. She was just a basic EC, but I used to do a lot of early childhood.
Okay.
So I did that and eventually started hiring the right people to step me forward. And Safari Kid has grown. We've changed. We are a very progressive curriculum. We change with time. We change with research and all the backing from scientific research. We've been trying to evolve the program accordingly. So what Safari Kid was almost 11 years back and what it is today is a big change.
So what are the changes that you've made?
So
when you established the school, how many students did you have in your first preschool?
First preschool when I started, I had, of course, 0 because I'm a brand new person. I don't have a very good background. All parents knew as a performing art teacher that I'm very good with children. I was connecting with the children. I was getting through to them. And what happened is that sort of gave me that thing, you know, I think I can work with children.
So you actually got the trust of the kids.
Yes, yes. I got the trust of the kids and the parents. And it was the parents who used to tell me, you know, you should start something, you know, you should work with children. Why only tutor? So there are a lot of things that ignited it. It's just that the final decision was, this is what I really want to do.
So the first class was how big?
Oh, I started in a 900 square footage of space. I had 0 children. And then when I started I got the first child in after 4 months. And
after 4 months?
4 months, I got my first child. And I can never, ever forget that child because it was awesome because the mother and father came, they interviewed me and they asked me saying, you are nobody. Who are you? You have nothing. What are you going to provide my child? I mean, and I said, just get your child to me. Let me work on her. I wanted to work more on a one-on-one emotional, social connection with the child. And it just worked for me. The child was so connected to me that the mom and dad was telling me that Megha only thinks about you. When it was Saturday, like I said in my video, she said, Mommy, when is it going to be Monday? She just wanted to come to me. So my basic intention of starting Safari Kid, I wanted to understand every child individually and work with them, not on any other curriculum basis, but work with them one-on-one, understanding them, talking to them, playing with them, giving them things to hold, touch, play, more on sensory and motor skill development. So that's all my intention was, and building a relationship with the children. But of course, like I said, eventually we evolved with the right...
so from Megha, who was your first student,
yes, Megha,
which means rain.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Megha is rain, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it rained on you. So other kids joined. Right. Where is Megha today?
Megha is a big girl now. She was in Challenger for a while. And now she started her own charity trust. And I just got an invitation saying that please come and visit. I haven't got a chance. Because
how old is she now?
Megha she started with me when she was 18 months old. So she's what, 11, 12, 13 years old now.
And she started a charity?
Yes.
Okay. So with Megha, you got your first student. And then within the first year, how many did you get?
So first 6 months, I got 5 or 6 students. First year, I got close to 10. And then after the first year was like those 10, 12 kids on an average were bringing me 9 students every year. So
each kid was referring at least 9?
Yes. And I had no marketing, I did not do, I have a marketing background, but I didn't do any sort of advertising, nothing. My intention was not to make Safari Kid today what it was, to be very frank. My intention was at that point, if I can, take a few children and work with them and make a difference was my only goal in life at that point in time. But it was just a ripple effect. Parents were happy, children were doing very well, and it just started growing really fast.
So what is different about Safari Kid when you started? Were you the only teacher?
I was the only teacher at that time.
Were you certified?
No.
So how did that happen? If you were not certified, how did parents trust their kids with you?
Exactly. So I believe that when you believe in something and when you're passionate about something, like my parents told me, your passion grows, your passion, it moves on. And for some parents, especially the first few parents, it was like, after talking to you, Ms. Shah, we wanted our children to be with you. We wanted to give you that chance because we felt you were very genuine. You believe in what you are doing and you're going to prove yourself. And for me, they gave me that chance, frankly. America, country of opportunities. I don't think I would have done that anywhere else, but these parents, to me, they are awesome.
So you're living the American dream.
Correct.
Because you had a passion, you believed in it, people gave their trust.
Me a chance.
They gave you a chance. When was the first time then you got your first teacher? Because here you are, first year you've got, under 10 students and you're the teacher. When did you get your first?
I got my teacher the second year when I reached 16 students, 12
Were you
students.
Were you making good money?
No, I wasn't, because I could barely pay the lease. I was, I wanted a professional environment. I didn't want to bring kids home and stuff like that and get them. I wanted to put them in a proper environment. So I took a small place, but still the lease was high. So for me to pay the lease and utilities and
so you're not breaking even?
I wasn't breaking even. I think I started breaking even on the 16th child at that point.
Okay.
And that was in the second year. And right after that, I moved to a much bigger place because I started seeing a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of calls, and a lot of people coming in to interview for the children. So I actually moved from a 900 square foot place to 3,000 square footage of space.
Where?
Right away.
Where was this?
It was 3 doors down. So as soon as they moved out, I went in and spoke to the landlord. I said, I need this place next month. And
where was this?
Newark.
In Fremont, near Fremont.
Correct.
Okay. And so we have pictures of your school today, which you have now schools everywhere that is in the Bay Area. And this is, how big is that classroom?
These classrooms are all approximately 900 to 1,000 square footage.
And I think this is either from Hong Kong or Dubai, one of the...
Right. This is actually Malaysia.
This is Malaysia. So that's how big one classroom is?
Yes. Approximately our classrooms are 900 to 1,000 square feet.
And how many classrooms do you have? I think we have one more picture coming up. This is in Malaysia, I want to say.
This is Malaysia too.
So
Outdoors.
that's what it looks from the outside.
Right.
So you went from 900 square feet to this huge sprawling campus. What was it that you did right?
What was it I did right? I think the only thing I did right was I believed in it. And
there was no doubt.
There was absolutely no doubt. People were telling me it's a huge risk. For me, there was no risk. There was no doubt. There's 100% belief. And when they say you believe, you're halfway there, correct? I think when you believe, you're there. All you have to do is put in the effort, commit to it, and it's not about whether it'll happen or not. It's you have to make it happen if you believe in something. It's a very simple policy.
But there must have been days where maybe you were not able to bring up the money to pay a mortgage or whatever.
But that
did you handle that?
Hardship, right? But that does not make me feel it's not going to happen.
No, but some people, when they encounter hardship, they say, this is not for me, and they bail out. Do you know what I'm saying? What was it about Safari Kid that, because you're already a young mother with a young kid, and your kid is a year old, your school is a year old, and then you became mother for the second time. So I'm wondering, how did you deal with the hardship? Because it's not easy running a young company and running a young family.
It wasn't. So frankly,
who believed in you other than you? Did your husband? Okay.
My husband was my biggest support. Without him, nothing would have been possible. He wanted me to get into networking, but once I started, and he was like, "I'm behind you. Do it. You believe in something new." He's the biggest believer. He believes in everything that I do. So
you're very lucky.
I'm very lucky,
to have someone who believed in you. So when did you? So you moved from a 900 to 3,000. Then when did you start your second school?
I started my second school after 3 years in Milpitas. Again, I started close to 2,300 square foot, and now we are close to 8,000 square feet. We expanded the space, we made the playground and everything.
How many schools do you have today in the US?
So we'll, everything under construction, all close to 40.
40?
Right. So only in the Bay Area and Virginia.
Why Virginia?
Virginia was an opportunity. Actually, one of my team members went to Virginia and he wanted to explore the Virginia market, and we saw a really nice school with a huge playground, 10,000 square footage of playground, huge school, like almost 12 classrooms and stuff. And we just wanted to start in an area. I wanted to create another Bay Area in a different state. So
okay, and this so you're still focused only on preschool, on kids?
Preschool and after school.
So after school, what do they learn?
So after school, when the children come back from the school, we take care of their homework. We have Safari Kit packets, which is again customized as per every child's needs based on the curriculum and the core requirements.
So is it like Kumon or something?
It is not like Kumon because we cover all the aspects. We cover math, language art, we cover public speaking, we cover chess, we cover drama, we cover karate. So everything, it's a one-stop shop for the parent. So once a child is enrolled in an after-school program, apart from the homework, we take care of a Safari Kit curriculum, which is a packet system. So as the child progresses, the child moves ahead in the packet system. Our children are actually on an average known
So that's a networking concept, packet system.
Somewhere I have to use something. It'll come in use, right? Nothing is a waste. So every part of education is useful.
How old are these kids? Do you cap the age at a certain age? After a certain age, you don't take kids?
Yes, we do it at 12 years.
12
After
years.
12, we don't.
Okay. How much does it cost for a kid to go to an after-school program at Safari Kid?
Average is $500 a month.
Do you work with kids that are less privileged or parents?
Yes, we do.
How do you do? Do you give financial support?
Yes, so if a parent shows hardship and stuff, we actually even give completely free education. And some parents who show hardship, we give some sort of concessions and discounts for those parents.
Okay. So you have 40 schools here in the US, and then you've also expanded internationally.
Correct.
Where all have you gone?
So we are in Canada. We have 3 schools in Canada, 2 under construction, big ones. We have in India, we have 3 schools, one in Pune, one in Bangalore, and one in Bombay, Mumbai. We have in Malaysia, we have one, and one already we've signed the lease and under construction. We have one in Hong Kong, one more coming up in Hong Kong. We have in Dubai, and we're looking at a few more countries right now, 3 more countries this next year.
Which other countries can you talk about?
Once
once you finalize.
Correct.
Okay, you're very Indian. You won't talk unless it's committed. Yes, I respect that. So, what is the model of expansion? Are you doing franchise? What are you doing?
So, for example, here in the US, we have a few corporate schools. And then
corporate schools mean
which means we own those schools.
Okay.
And then we have franchised schools. Like you were talking about hardships and finances, right? And one side is that and one side is the purpose. So the only way I could spread my purpose or make sure everybody's getting the best education they deserve was through franchising, because financially, me and my husband, we started off from scratch, like, studying and paying for every little bills and everything like that. So we started off very small, grew, and the only way I could grow more was through loans and franchising. So, and franchising with the people who believe in Safari Kid, and those were my teachers and my parents who are actually my franchisees today.
So that's also word of mouth.
Completely. So my first 4 teachers own their own franchises. On an average, they own 3 schools each. First 4 teachers. And all the other franchises are my parents. So children have studied in Safari Kid, and they've opened their own centers today.
How did you learn and figure out how to franchise? Because I don't think that was something that you knew, I'm guessing.
I had no idea.
So how did you figure out that the franchising was the route you needed to go?
So, of course, being in America, you see all these big franchise chains, and I learned more about it. I went for a seminar. I went and spoke to a franchise champion in the Bay Area. I forgot his name. But we actually went and spoke to him. We went for his seminars. We went and spoke to the franchise lawyers and tried and understand everything across.
So you're very detail-oriented?
Very.
Okay.
And then took it slow. I mean, it took me almost 2 years to get to the point of, yes, now I'm ready to franchise. Because franchising came to me immediately after 4 years of operation, because all the teachers and parents were the ones who instigated me, saying, Misha, you have to franchise. You have to give all of us an opportunity to do what you're doing today. And that was like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. So I started looking into that matter.
How surprised are you with how far you've come?
Frankly, when I started, like I said, I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought I'll be in that 900 square foot space, making a difference to whatever children come to me. At this now, I'm not surprised, because now I want to do more. But yes, it was, I do think sometimes, sit back and think, and my husband too tells me sometimes, do you sometimes feel like how far you've come? He makes me realize it again and like when I was coming for my interview today, he said, so when you speak in the interview, speak your heart out, you know? So I was like, yeah, of course, because there's no preparation. And he said, it's just makes me think you've come a long way, Jan. So
you've come a long way. So have you raised any, how did you build these schools? Through the money that you're generating from the schools? Did you go for a loan? Did you raise money from venture capitalists? We live in Silicon Valley, that's a question.
Right, no, so right now, Safari Kid 100% is self-funded. 100%, but abroad, not abroad, I mean internationally, for example, Dubai, Malaysia, Hong Kong, we raised $2 million. And India, we raised $1 million.
Raised from where?
People from those countries actually approached us, and they are the ones who are doing it. So we have a separate CEO for India, we have a separate CEO for Asia. And they've been raising the funds, and they are running the operations. We are providing them all the intellectual property and everything on partnership basis.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. I want to find out, how do you build the curriculum? Because here you are, you have no background in childhood education and nothing, but you've built a chain of schools. So the number one question, if I was a parent of a young kid, that would be my number one question is,
Correct.
you know, how do you build your curriculum? Do you have, how do you go about it?
We have a team of experts who actually 100% focused on building the curriculum based on different research.
So do you work with Stanford, for instance?
Yes, we have a lady who works for Stanford, and she builds in the curriculum for us. So we have a few people. Then we have a lady in, she's from UK, and she brings in the curriculum. So we've kind of amalgamated everything together, bringing the best together.
I'm thinking, because you have such a strong flair for leadership, do you also teach leadership skills to these kids?
We actually have a separate program called the YLA. It's a Young Leaders Academy. And that program is specifically for children all the way from kindergarten to 15 years of age. And we have different programs on leadership, communication. We have an entire 12-week program designed
What
like
made
that.
you come up with that program?
The fact that when I used to work with children, I always see a leader. Some of them are very prominent leaders. And Safari Kid promotes public speaking as part of our after-school program, which is a very powerful part of our program. And apart from going out, standing there, talking in public, which is very important for children, I think communication skills, what is a complete communication, eye contact, body language, how do you come up, even like a little business plan. These children who are in 6th and 8th grade actually do that. And
did you write a business plan?
I did not do. I did not.
But you're teaching these kids how to.
I didn't design the curriculum. I just have the ideas and concepts. And like I said, we hire the right resources to do that for us.
No. So you actually are very interesting, because you didn't have a business plan.
I didn't have a business plan. I did not know where my finances were going to come. Frankly, all I had was belief, passion, commitment, and I knew I'm going to work hard and make it happen. Not happening was not my option at all.
Shy, you are very persuasive, as folks in India said about your skills. Who was one teacher that inspired you growing up in India?
My one teacher who inspired me, as in teacher or a person?
Person.
Was my dad. My dad was amazing. I tell my husband, my kid, my dad was a philosopher, because the little things that he said to me as a child, at that time, I was like, that is so silly. Why is he telling me all these things? But today, everything that he said makes so much sense.
What did he say?
Things like, my favorite ones are simple living and high thinking. Simple things like, you know, when you want to do something, don't think about anything else. Just go for it. Do it. Risk, if you think too much, you'll never do it. You'll never be able to approach it. So you believe in something, go for it, Shy Mudakavi. He used to tell me that. He used to tell me the only thing that matters to a person in the entire life is a conscience. As long as your conscience is clear and your conscience is clean, you will never be wrong. You don't have to even believe in idol worshipping. Just believe in your conscience and you're right there. So the little things, it really mattered to me. My dad was my inspiration.
So you probably don't have sleepless nights. Because your conscience must be clean, right? Because he influenced you. My last question, in 5 years' time, where do you think you're going to be?
In 5 years' time...
Are you planning on starting a college or something?
I don't know. I would definitely want to start an elementary school, is what my plan is. And I want to start a leadership school. So those are my two main goals and kind of vision. But no, I haven't thought of college at all at this point, frankly.
Shy, I wish we had more time, because nothing is going to stop you, it looks like. It's what your father said. If you want to do something, go do it.
Correct.
So I guess that's what you are all about. Go do it. Nike's philosophy.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Your website is safarikid.com?
safarikidUSA.com.
safarikidUSA.com. Thank you for stopping by, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching. If you missed any of our episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel and catch them. I'm on Twitter. My handle is @Kamla. SafariKidUSA.com is the website for Shy's school. And we'll catch you next week with another episode. Until then, goodbye.